Welcome to Manifesting Your Day. Okay, excellent. So let's actually talk about now. Let's upgrade ourselves. So we do that again through self-talk, attracting abundance, and taking action. But let's go first over some principles. Even in that fun movie, Back to the Future, they went through the same process that we're going to go through. And that is we first visualize an idea, we speak it into existence, then we actually experience it like it's already happened. And then we're going to do it. Even though they had a time machine, they went through the same process that we're going to go through. To get everything you want in your life, the primary secret is actually to move forward and to look back. So what does that mean? It means actually to picture in your mind, to actually speak into existence like you have already done it. So you've already time traveled, you've already experienced it, you've already reached that goal. You know what? Let's look at Mark Cuban. And love him or hate him or whatever you think. Do you really think he goes, oh, I wish I could do this? I think I can do this? No. Before he actually makes a decision, he's already experienced it. He's already put himself in that spot, and he's already looking back at what he's accomplished before he's even started it. He already knows everything he needs to do. He already has the confidence is radiating out of him like a magnet. And let's say a bump in the road does happen. You know what happens to Mark? It doesn't bother him because he knows this is all going to happen. And he's not using his mind power to think about, oh, is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? Are people judging me? He simply, it's because he's so committed, he doesn't let extra noise into his brain. He simply comes up with the right alternative fast. And this is going to be you also. We really do attract the energy and the vibration we put out in the universe. We see this all the time. When someone walks in a room, you feel their energy. They pull people to them. Also, the universe works with clear, high vibration intentions. So the higher your vibration, the more clear you are, the more the universe is going to come back and reward you. The universe works for us. However, we need to stay on track. We need to stay consistent. Know it's going to take time and allow things to come back to us. Yes, the second point is believing there is more than us in this universe. Let's now move into the third step, self-talk. Self-talk is actually a system where we're going to reprogram your subconscious mind to clear out habits that are holding you back. So first off, let's learn a little bit more about our subconscious mind and how it works. First off, our habits, sexual desires, anxiety, maybe even if we don't feel that we're enough sometimes, addiction, emotional reactions, so many things are actually based in our subconscious mind. And our mind really is an amazing thing. First off, our conscious mind does all the abstract thinking, the creativity, really where you use your brain power. How does it have this brain power? Because it has a program running, which is called the subconscious, which actually does the heavy lifting, which actually does the things that you know how to do, so it doesn't take up the brain power of your conscious mind. Crazy. Even Who I'm Attracted To is actually a program that you're running that was established at an early age. We never look at someone and say, oh, am I attracted to them or am I not? It's just instant. You are or you aren't. Here's a very powerful concept. I'm feeling stressed. What did I do last time? So let's say I'm feeling stressed, so I may have grabbed for a beer, or I may have grabbed for a donut. And then, you know what, you don't even think about it, and all of a sudden you're eating that donut. And we know how that feels. And a lot of times when we try to stop ourselves from doing it, it doesn't work because the computer program is running. And we're going to talk more about this concept. It's the influences in our lives, primarily by 8 years of age, that create that program. Now, I challenge you to think back to your life and think about when you try to push something out of your life, where you just try to stop something. You know, a lot of times when we push away on something, we actually focus on it even more. Oh, I actually really want that. You know, it stays in the front of your mind because it's your old computer programming telling you, hey, yeah, it may not have been healthy for me, but it gave me this benefit, gave me this dopamine release, whatever it may be. Maybe I forgot. I forgot about some of the pain and suffering, anxiety that I went through. You know, what we need to do is we need to update our program so we don't keep craving, you know, for example, maybe sugar or carbs. For me, it was cocaine. I needed to add to my life before I could give up the cocaine. What really happens is actually not even possible to quit an addiction or anything really. It's actually not even possible to quit an addiction unless you first clear the blocks, then you add more to your life than you're subtracting, because everything has a benefit. And then the addiction quits you. You stop thinking about it all the time, and all of a sudden it stops giving you the power. That's why, for example, if you're part of AA, which is an amazing organization, but if you don't also clear the blocks and then add something new into your life, and also if you keep saying, I'm an addict, then what you're really doing is you're always fighting the addiction, and it always has power over you. I just want to talk a little bit about shame because it's a real epidemic in our society now. First off, what's the difference between guilt and shame? So guilt is, I did not do that correctly. Shame is, I'm not good enough. You know what? Again, we talked about it earlier in the presentation. I was a high achieving, confident, dynamic leader, and I was really achieving to overcome what I didn't even realize was deep-seated shame that I wasn't good enough, that I needed, the success even to prove to myself, not just others, prove to myself that I'm worthy. And shame is highly, highly correlated to addiction. Even other emotions like rage is actually connected to shame. So in this program, you're going to naturally work through all these issues. So let's drop in a little bit deeper into how things actually work. So let's look at the left-hand side first. We have our emotional inputs. If you think about it, anytime you really get a big input, a big hit, your body kind of comes into itself. You feel it in your body. And what happens is that excess energy is again held in your body. And we feel soreness in our body. We feel tension in our body. That's really excess emotion held in our body. And that's when I talk about unblocking. That is the first step. And that unblocking is really done through self-talk, which we'll talk more about. And also again is using the mantra, the power breathing, the meditation. Also, if we look at our breath and our food, it really affects how we're breathing, how we're eating, and many other effects our chemistry. And our chemistry really affects how we're feeling on any given day. So that all gets transferred in our subconscious. Whenever we're feeling bad, our chemistry is off, we start talking to ourselves. And then we're giving ourselves negative inputs. And each area of our body is associated to a different emotion. So when we have that block can result in your habits, sexual desires, addictions, and even the shame. So it's a whole process that we're going through. Now, your conscious mind is not directly connected to the system. However, of course, when we feel good, our mind then is released. It has the power, it has the energy to be that creative, dynamic person. Let's quickly go through the 4 things that you need to do to crack the subconscious code. First, unblocking held energy. If you're holding any emotion connected to your past, then that event has the same power today as it did when it first occurred. So we need to release that power that person has over you, or that event, or whatever it may be. The second rule, to change a habit, you need to add a new one. Subtracting without adding creates a vacuum. Now the third rule, willpower separates us from ourselves and our community. Now think about it. When you've used willpower in the past, you're kind of removing yourself because you're actually looking at yourself and trying to gain power over it. Doesn't work that way. You know what? Whenever we fight something, then we give it power. And also when we use willpower, we separate from our community. What we need to do is connect to our community. Now, willpower and discipline are 2 different things. Discipline, you focus on what you want and how to get to it. It's completely different, subtle. We'll talk more about that. The fourth is that we need 4 out of every 5 messages to be positive. Our subconscious mind doesn't actually know the difference between our internal self-talk and external input. So if it's us telling us we're no good or the outside world, our subconscious doesn't know. Now that's high. We need a huge positive influx. You can see how difficult that is in today's society with all the negative inputs we're giving ourselves, from media, from other people, all the pressure around us. We need to really switch that around and really become a positive machine. And we're going to do that every day. Here's a sample of a card that I wrote. Now, a couple things about how we write these cards to ourselves. First off, Sundays are planning day. There'll be multiple cards in your deck. We'll go over that in a little more detail. And it can be from I or you. So it can be powerful being either way. I am, or from the third person, your subconscious. So your subconscious hears a different. You are, however you want to put it. It can be very powerful. What we want to do, these cards for this section, for self-talk, is about how we want to upgrade ourselves. We'll talk a little bit more about that. What we want to attract. Self-empowerment. I put Wahe Guru is because be fun with it. You can be silly, fun, whatever floats your boat, right? This is your cards. Remember, change takes time and discipline equals freedom and joy. So it's going to take a while. Be patient with it. So now let's go into more detail so you really learn how to write these cards. Now there's okay, helpful, and really powerful ways of writing it. Instructional is okay. That could be, I will not feel rage as one example. Now again, we're not internalizing the feeling, so it's not as powerful for our subconscious. It's a little more helpful when we're aspirational. I will accept and understand that we're all going through stuff. Okay, it's aspirational, so I have less rage. It's helpful. But where we really get powerful is when we actually really experience it. So it's already occurred, so we're reading it like it's already happened. This is already part of us. Let me give you an example. Scott, you got to the root of the problem versus reacting to the surface issue. Or, I love how I put myself in the other person's shoes. I understand they're just running on their own programming. Can you see the difference? Feel the difference? Let's do another one. I'm going to be more disciplined. Okay. Discipline is the key. Okay, aspirational. Now, tell me how you feel about this one. I'm proud of myself. I've been writing every day. I'm living in my life's purpose. So instead of just being general about being disciplined, what do I want to be disciplined in? So I actually live that, and then I bring that out. And then I'm experiencing. And every time I sit down, now when I sit down, I'm like, okay, this is part of my daily ritual. Let's do another one. You get things done early and all the time. I love it. So again, from a third person. I enjoy getting to work early. Again, all around discipline. Instructional. Don't sweat the small stuff. Aspirational. I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. Now let's experience it from someone else's viewpoint. Scott, I love how you don't sweat the small stuff. And then for myself, I don't sweat the small stuff. Instructional. I'll be working out every day. Aspirational. I'm excited to have fitness as part of my life. Experiencing it. I enjoy my workouts and it's my first priority. Your workouts are legit. Instructional. Aspirational. My creative side is going to take me places. Experiencing it. My creativity is opening up new doors for me right now. Your creative side has become very strong. I'm living sober. I don't need to have a drink to have fun. Then let's get into experiencing it. At last night's party, you really made some great personal connections and had an amazing time. There we go. Let's do another one. I have so much fun without drinking. I did not think it was possible. I now see the real you. We should grab a dinner. So there we go, a little dating thing going on. On Sundays, we're going to sit down and reassess our objectives. What our goals of our lives are to upgrade, to empower us. So here's a sample of mine. Trust. Don't let other people's energy affect me. Stay focused and productive. Now I added the cocaine, just to give you an example. We'll go through addiction, just kind of from my past. Okay, so let's look at trust. So we get the category, and what we do is we write a number of cards for each of the categories. So for trust, my God wants the best for me. You have all the tools you need. I love how great things flow into my life. Let's do another one. Don't let other people's energy affect me. I love how meditation brings me back into my power. I project beautiful energy. I love myself. You love yourself. Stay focused and productive. Your time management is legit. You produce quality and you do it fast. I'm a well-oiled production machine. Yeah, baby. Get off cocaine. A sample from my old life. I feel the power of cocaine leaving my body. My life's purpose now has space. I love my morning spiritual warrior. I love myself for doing it. Now in the day when things come up and we verbalize something negative or internal, what we can always do is end it with a thought or a statement that's positive. And when emotion does come up, hey, it's not a bad thing when you get emotional. Use it as fuel. Use it as fuel, like, okay, I'm going to get it next time, whatever it may be. You know what? It's natural to feel something. So don't block yourself. So feel it, accept it, use it as fuel, turn it around, and make it yours. So the first thing we want to do is just start listening to how you're talking to yourself, how you're speaking to yourself. Make notes on this. And then what you want to do is go forward like the warrior you are. And simply take that thought and add grace to it. Simply turn it around, use as energy, and really become that warrior that you really are. Okay, who doesn't want to attract abundance into their lives? Let's get into this. And what we talked about earlier is to really attract abundance, you need to put yourself in the future like you've already achieved it, that you've already been there. Then it's all going to come to you because you're acting from a position of strength. And you're being very clear to the universe. I'm already here. You're vibrating so high, you're going to attract all that to you. So when we're attracting abundance, there's damaging, powerful, and really supercharging abundance. So let's look at damaging. Damaging is I'm wishing for something. When you wish for something, then you are emphasizing you don't have it. You're also putting out the energy that you're lacking. So let's look at some things that are wishing. I wish I could meet that perfect person to have a family. It sounds nice, but again, we're wishing. We're putting us in lack. As young people would say, hey, it sounds a little thirsty. So let's move on. Let's get a little more powerful. There is a woman out there that is looking for me right now. Help us find each other now because we deserve each other. This is actually quite powerful. Now, let's look back on what we've already achieved. I am cooking in my open concept kitchen as I'm watching my wife and kids picking vegetables for our dinner. The house is full of music, love, dance, laughter, and family. Pretty powerful, actually. So this is actually what I used to say to myself before I met Amanda. Now let's do an example of something that is actually not going to help us. And here we go. I'm going to close that Ford sale this month, and I'm going to make big cash. Okay, again, we're not receiving. We're actually creating desperation in our subconscious mind. So let's move on to powerful. I would like to thank the Ford company for business. Yeah, that sounds good. I already got it. I'm here. Okay. The Ford company is my best account, and they've given me lots of referrals. Can you imagine, even if you came in with that attitude, that this is a long-term win-win for both of you, your relationship's going to be better as a salesperson. This transfers to everything in your life. Okay, let's do another one. I need to make $1 million to retire. Okay. I just retired with $1 million, and I had a blast doing it. Plus, I helped so many people along the way. Okay. Right now, I have everything I want, including my boat, and I'm about to take my grandkids out in it. Now, think of the power you're experiencing in that affirmation. Attracting abundance really is a formula where we're projecting some energy, and the universe comes back and gives us a little energy back. So let's look at this from low to high energy. The more specific we are, the more details we have, the more clear we are in the actions we need to take, and also what the universe needs to provide for us. Because it is a loving universe that does want to work for us. But a lot of times we send it out negative signals. Now let's think about something. Okay, that's good. But we know there's more power when we speak to it into the universe. Then when we emotionally experience it, and we're really living the part. Again, let's look at Mark Cuban. He emotionally experiences the outcome of anything he's going into before it even starts. That's why he's got all that power. That's where you feel it. Don't you feel it? When we meet people that are projecting that energy, let's download that energy right into ourselves. And of course, the most powerful thing is doing it. So the cards you write for attracting abundance is very similar to what we do for self-talk. It's simply that we're not writing about ourselves. It's what we want to attract to ourselves. Every Sunday, we write our objectives down, what we want to attract. And again, these cards could stay in forever or get shuffled out, just depending on what intention you set on Sundays. So here's 3 of mine: connecting to other couples, a Joshua Tree property, and 1 million spiritual warriors. Again, so we can change the world. The world's already changing, but we can give it a helping hand. So here's the cards I'm reading this week. You're doing amazing things with this property. This property is helping spread the warrior tribe. I'm humbled by the quality of our friends. You have the best game nights in Venice, California. Yeah. 1 million spiritual warriors. This is changing and shifting. Exciting. People are loving this and are becoming teachers. Now the final step is 1 minute. We actually set what we're going to accomplish that day. Now, when we set it, we have no doubts, no justifications. We're going to be bold. There's no justification. I don't want you telling your friend why you're doing something to justify it. We're going to be bold, and this is what we're going to do. And there's no doubt. There's no I will be, I am, I'm going to. This is our action we committed to. So we just commit to one small action based on one of the things we're working on from self-talk and one of the things we're trying to attract abundance to. So just one of each, we write them down and we commit to doing that action, even if it's a small action. And also we can look back on the day before and evaluate, did we make that commitment and did we follow through? Now again, this can even be the smallest commitment. It's about creating the process. There's a book called The Lean Startup. It's a required book for pretty well every CEO in high tech in North America at least. And the idea is, the idea is again, you do small iterative steps. You come up with an idea, you release that idea, you gather data, you keep refining your idea. And also make sure that you need a shift where something's not going the right way, but we have the data, we get the experience. Now, if you don't know what your purpose of your life is, where you're still trying to find this out, start trying things and see how they feel, because they will morph into something else.